Hey YouTube, welcome to my review of the DJI Mavic Pro. I ordered this back in November and it finally arrived this week and we're now in January, so it has been a bit of a wait. Now first of all I want to talk to you about where I ordered my drone from. I actually ordered mine through Apple. Now there are two reasons why I did this. First of all, I was able to get the drone delivered to an Apple store rather than wait for it to come through the post. And secondly was the price. Shortly after DJI released the Mavic, they actually raised the price, but the Apple website maintained the original price of the drone. And so I managed to get it for about £100 cheaper than what DJI were actually selling it for. The drone itself is absolutely fantastic. Now it's not going to be an unboxing review, there's plenty of YouTube clips out there to show you what's in the box. Needless to say, it's the drone, the controller, some propellers and some charging equipment. This is actually to show you how easy this drone is to fly from a complete beginner's point of view. I've never flown anything this technical before. The only thing I've flown are little toy helicopters. So to fly this around in my local park, I thought it was going to take a little bit getting used to, but I was pleasantly surprised. One of the things I noticed about this drone straight away was just how stable it was in the air. I'd flown this drone indoors already without GPS enabled and in tripod mode, and it was as solid as a rock. When I took it outside, admittedly, there wasn't that much breeze, but even so, it would hold its position really well. At the time, I think I had about 16 satellites locked onto me. The other thing I noticed today was just how easy this drone is to fly. It is very intuitive. You pick it up, you hold it like a PlayStation controller, and you just fly it around. There was no learning curve when it came to actually flying this drone. We did try the collision avoidance system. Now I did fly it pretty much at full speed towards my face, which probably wasn't the best idea, but it did stop. I then decided to back it up and have another go at it, this time going a little bit slower, and the drone had more time to think about what it was doing, and it did avoid me. Now one thing to bear in mind with this system is that once it has stopped in front of somebody, if that person then moves towards the drone does not back away, so you can actually get quite close to it. This is something to bear in mind if you are flying it around other people. I then took the drone up to around 70 meters above where I was, and I managed to get a pretty good view of the city. Now this city is Cardiff in Wales in the United Kingdom, and I actually had pretty good visibility. When I spun the camera around, I actually got good footage of the surrounding area. All the footage that you're seeing was shot in 2K using the D-Cine-like style, and it hasn't been color graded. Next we tried the tripod mode, and as you can see it is very, very stable. The drone itself was actually twitching whilst this was being filmed, but you can see that the shot itself came out really well. The axis gimbal that it has holds the camera really, really still. We then tried the active track. This is just the trace mode, which I then eventually put a rotation on, and it did keep up with me very well, although I'm only running in a straight line. It only stopped after I touched the screen, so this was more user error than anything else. Once I told it to track me again, it followed me fine, and as you can see I'm running around the field and it has absolutely no trouble tracking me. One thing I did notice though, that my friend brought her dog along to the field, and I did try to get it to track the dog. Now the dog's dark colour and it's wearing a red vest. I don't know if it's having trouble picking the dog out against the green background, but it couldn't pick the dog up to track. So smaller animals it does have trouble with, but people, cars, ships, anything like that, it will track fine. Battery life was very good. I did get around 20 minutes out of the battery. I do have two of them and I did use both of them, but I was taking the drone off and landing it quite frequently, which did run the battery down that a little bit quicker. One thing I haven't shown you is the return to home feature. That does work very well. I flew the drone about 250 meters away from me, and due to the grey sky I actually lost sight of the drone. It flew pretty far away pretty quickly. So to bring it back, I used the return to home function, and it did come back to me and landed within about half a meter of where I actually took it off from. Speaking of which, the grass was quite long in the field that I was in. Now when I first started the drone up, I did put it down on the grass, and I got a warning message when the blade started spinning saying that something had got caught up in the motors. I checked the motors, there was nothing there, but the blades did not like trying to cut through the grass. So I ended up launching it off the back of my backpack, which was laying on the ground. Taking off from there is not ideal, but it did manage it. Once it was up in the air and I was bringing it back in again, I actually had to land it manually on the backpack so it didn't get caught up in the grass again. I put the drone into tripod mode to give it a bit more control, and I have to say landing this drone manually is actually very easy. As you can see, I managed to land it on the back of the backpack, and I managed it a couple of times. In fact, I had to land it on the backpack every time I wanted to change the battery, or just for a bit of practice. My one criticism of the Mavic Pro is not actually about the Mavic Pro, it's about the screen that you use to control it. All the videos that I've seen of the Mavic so far, people have been using the iPhone 6 Plus or 7 Plus or a phone of similar screen size to that. On the other hand, I'm using an iPhone 6, which has obviously a smaller screen. Now, it's not possible to fly with it, but it does make controlling it a little bit trickier. So I may invest in a small tablet or slightly bigger phone in the future. But for now, it does the job. Hope you've enjoyed my review. Please leave comments down below and hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Also hit subscribe. We will be putting out more Mavic videos throughout the next couple of weeks. And in February, I'll be taking the drone over to Australia and hopefully getting some amazing shots out there. So stay tuned and I'll see you next time.